Today we are driving the 2024 Acura RDX Advance. How well does this RDX handle on the road compared to the competition? Let's go ahead and find out. As always, let's start out with a brief tour of this RDX. The RDX continues to have a very bold design for 2024 and nothing really is going to change. There's a large diamond pentagon grille, these really nice jewel-eyed LED headlights, and on the side you get these nice 19-inch alloy wheels. There's a lot of chrome on the side, including this molding down here, and a lot of chrome surrounding the windows. Here's a quick look at the side profile of this car. This is not as small as the competition, measuring in at 187 inches in length. The gas cap can be pressed and that will open it up. And now let's take a look at the back of the car. You get these exposed exhaust outlets down below, you get mostly LED headlights and exposed rear wiper. Overall, a pretty clean design back here. Let's open up the trunk and see how much space there is under here. There is a hands-free function that I will demonstrate a little bit later. There are a lot of nice cubbies around here, and also there's a ton of underfloor storage. Like, the only other place I saw this was in an electric car, the Tesla Model S that I recently reviewed. So that is actually really nice to see in a gas-powered vehicle. There's a demonstration of the hands-free function, definitely really nice to see on an Acura product like this. But now let's check out the back seats and see what the RDX has to offer. The seats themselves are made of Milano leather, so they're pretty high quality and pretty comfortable. Behind a 6-foot-tall driver's driving position, I have plenty of legroom, and the plastic on the back of the seats are necessary so that it's easy to clean when your kids kick them. The heated seats and USB-C ports are very nice to have, and the armrest is very nicely padded, and there are 2 cup holders. Here's a sneak peek of the front of the interior, so let's go ahead and check that out. It is very funny that you either get the heated seats or you don't, because the competition offers that as an option. The front of the interior is very nice. You get these 16-way power adjustable seats finished in the same Milano leather. Getting inside is pretty easy, and the steering wheel is very nicely leather wrapped and heated. You also get some other random controls like your volume control and your phone call. The gauge cluster is very outdated. It's been around for 5 years now, and I'm very surprised that they haven't updated that. There's a lot of gloss black in the center area, but there are 3 stages of heated seats and ventilated seats, and there is no gloss black where you would actually touch. All of your climate controls are physical, which is very nice to see, and there's your push button gear selector. They still have a trackpad controlling the center infotainment system, which is fine once you get used to it, but considering that the MDX and Integra have it, maybe they should let it go. This does work very well, and it has wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. There's a large center pass-through with another USB-C port, and once you open up this wood finish, there is a lot of storage and 2 cup holders. There's some more storage in the center console, so Acura definitely has you covered when it comes to storage. There's also a very high-resolution backup camera, but unfortunately it doesn't take up the whole display, which is very strange. Also, when you push this button on the side of the wiper stock, you can pull up another view, and you can also pull up the wheel view and another surround view. So that is basically it with the interior of this Acura RDX Advance. Very nicely appointed, a lot of nice fit and finish in this cabin, so let's go ahead and take this RDX for a drive. It is definitely nice to be back in an Acura RDX. I actually filmed the 2023 Acura RDX A-Spec Advance in March of 2023, and since that was one of my first car reviews at the dealership, it wasn't amazing, so I've definitely had a good chance to go ahead and make this review great and as good as I could make it. And I also have a new view. I'm sitting behind the driver's seat, whereas in that other review a year ago, I was sitting in the front passenger seat. So that wasn't an amazing view. So I'm glad that I could definitely go ahead and fix that. But driving the Acura RDX, there was a quick acceleration clip that will give me a chance to talk about the powertrain in this RDX. There is only one powertrain, unlike some other competition. So you get a 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine making 272 horsepower and 280 pound-feet of torque. Those are some pretty healthy numbers, and that is, once again, the only powertrain that you can get in an Acura RDX. If you look at the competition, I think every single one will offer a different powertrain, at least one different powertrain. So Audi has about 3 powertrains, if I'm correct: the 40, the 45, and the SQ5. And then BMW has a couple different powertrains. Mercedes has a couple different powertrains. So if you want a high performance RDX, you're going to have to wait, or you might have to step down to the TLX or the MDX. But they've done a pretty good job on this powertrain. I have no complaints about it. It sounds completely fine, and it gets up to speed pretty quickly, maybe in the low 6-second range. And this standard engine is actually faster than the standard engines in the German rivals, the Lexus NX, so this is definitely a win. If you're comparing it to the BMW X3, the X3 xDrive 30i will have a slower powertrain. It only has 255 horsepower. The Audi Q5 45, which is the second powertrain, that's going to have 261 horsepower. So this RDX is in a pretty good spot. And you're going to see a little bit of an acceleration clip. We'll get a better one a little bit later, as well as a handling test, but there's some cars in front of us, and we'd like to not crash this dealership car. So as you can see, getting up to speed on the highway, no problems at all, and definitely no problems passing other cars on the highway, passing other cars on a country road. So basically, they've got you covered with this RDX. Now that we're up to speed on the highway, let's talk about wind noise, road noise, and tire noise. I was actually surprised to say that there is not a lot of wind noise entering the cabin. Yes, you got dual pane glass, so that's going to contribute to a quieter cabin, but it is actually very windy today, so I was surprised to not hear a lot of wind noise entering the cabin. Also, this is not the MDX. It's not going to have a 51 decibel sound level rating. And according to carconfections.com, this RDX is in a pretty good place for the class. So as you can see, it is very competitive when it comes to sound level readings. I don't know if that was intended by the manufacturers, but it just happened, and this RDX is in the middle of the class. For 2024, the Audi Q5, the BMW X3, and the Mercedes GLC are all beating this out. If you can't see the top, well, the Mercedes GLC is currently the quietest in the class, and the BMW X3 trails it by just a little bit. So this RDX isn't doing too bad, and I would say that you'd be perfectly happy with the cabin volume at these speeds. As far as the tire noise, there really isn't that much to talk about here because these tires are basically silent. As you would expect from a 19-inch alloy wheels, you're barely ever going to notice the tire noise at all because they're just very quiet. I'm not sure what tires these are riding on, but whatever it is, it's a pretty good tire because I'm not hearing anything from these wheels. But it's about time that we talk about the handling, acceleration, and the transmission. So once you turn in here, we're going to floor it and see how well this handles around the curve. We'll see how the transmission holds up, and we'll see what this 2-liter 4-cylinder turbo can do. First up, let's talk about acceleration. Expect 0 to 60 in maybe 6.2 or 6.3 seconds. Not bad at all. And we were just cruising in normal mode right there. No sport mode, there isn't a Sport Plus on this RDX Advance, so I'd say the acceleration is pretty solid in this car. Also, the engine has a pretty nice sound to it even though it's a 4-cylinder turbo. The transmission is a 10-speed automatic, and overall it's pretty smooth and refined. It's not confused on which gear to choose from because that can be a problem in some 10-speed automatic cars. And also, it's just pretty smoothly and pretty quickly, so I'd see that the transmission is also pretty solid and it's going to hold up for a long time in typical Acura fashion. Also, the handling. We took that corner pretty fast, and I have to say that the handling is amazing in this RDX. Like, Acura is generally a sportier brand, but this RDX felt pretty stable and pretty quick on its feet. So if you want to take the corners fast, you could do it, but again, this is not a sports car, this is not a super SUV. So if you just want good handling from a standard car, this is probably the car for you because this handles very well. And the passing power, as you can see, is very good. That's the nice thing about these 4-cylinder turbos. There's plenty of torque, so you can pass anybody very easily. But it's about time that we end this video, so I want to thank you guys so much for watching this video, and be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Also, be sure to check out my in-depth review for more information on this RDX.